it. It's such a big, beautiful bay. And so that's where that photo was taken. It's actually taken from the old pre-highway road where it climbs up out of from El Coyote. And you can look down and you can see a group of palm trees right by the water there that have been in photos. I got photos back to the 1940s of that same clump of palm trees right on the beach. And then the background, of course, the other small islands in the bay. And that's just south of Mulahay. And that's basically about 2/3, maybe at the most, distance down the peninsula on the Gulf side or Sea of Cortez side of Baja. And so that's where that photo was taken. It's on vivabaja.com.
Yeah. Now, as a veteran, you just stated you've been going down there for 50 years. Congratulations. I know you have a lot of stories. Any favorite spots that you like to travel today? I mean, I know it's probably changed over the years because of, things have been established a little bit more and some of the characters gone away. But where do you like to travel now when you head south?
Right. Well, my wife and I both enjoy the beach, and we just love the sand and serenity and away from noises. And so we go to a beach south of San Felipe, about 20 miles, and camp on it. And it's a beach you need four-wheel drive to get onto because there's some deep sand to get to the camping spot and little sand dunes where we're at. And it's, we just camp there as long as we want. And in the northern Sea of Cortez, the tide is extreme. It goes out, up to a mile sometimes. There's like a 20-foot vertical tide change, and the water's shallow and sandy, and the water goes way, way out, and you get, you can see seashells and just the bird life, and everything's so interesting there. And we just go there to relax and chill. But that's just one of many places. We also enjoy going to El Rosario too, on the other side. And El Rosario is a town, but we just really enjoy staying. There's a motel there called the Baja Cactus Motel, and it's run by a wonderful guy named Antonio. And he just does so much for that area that we love to support him. And we stay there, and there's so many sites out of El Rosario. There's fossil beds, there's painted rocks, there's beautiful cactus forests, nice beach. And so El Rosario actually, people think of it as just a gas station stop town, and to keep on going to one place north or south. But if you stay in different places of Baja and just ask around or explore around, it's amazing the things are to see around other places. So, and the third place I probably could think of right now, I mean, there's a lot. Obviously, Gonzaga and Bahia de Los Angeles are all just wonderful places to go and visit. But there's a place on the Pacific side called Bahia Asuncion, and it's become a spectacular spot, and primarily to the wonderful work by a lady named Sherry Bondi, who runs a little bed and breakfast or a little motel there and does tours and sightseeing. She's from Canada originally, and she's just been a great host for visitors to Bahia Asuncion. And it's reached by paved road now, so it's easy to get to. And it's just a wonderful amount of sea life and fossil beds. And I mean, it's one of those, Baja's got so much in all these different locations, such a combination of things to do and see. I don't think anyone will ever get bored.
Yeah. Now, what I love about what you just said or talked about is each one of those cities, you have a name and a story attached to it that's very personal. And I think that's one thing that we find in Baja is that you meet these people in these towns. They're willing to show you around, open their home for you, open their restaurant, and help you discover their wonderful cities that they live in their country. And I just don't think we can share that enough with people that haven't traveled to Baja, because that is the real gold and the essence of what you get when you travel down there.
Yeah, I agree. It is. It's an endless supply of wonder and personalities, just charming. Like even fellows. There was a hermit, if you want to call him that, who just recently passed away, named Pancho, and he lived on a little beach shack south of Bahia de Los Angeles at San Rafael, and he was just the most wonderful, kind person. My kids and I would go there and visit, and he would give little seashells to my daughter and make fish tacos for my son. And just, these people have almost nothing, but would go out of their way to do these things. And, to them, we're coming along with our fancy four-wheel drive vehicles. And, life is easy since we can go on vacations where they have to work every day of the year. But that they will treat us with such hospitality it's just an amazing, one of those other magic things about Baja that really wants you always want to go back again.
Yeah, yeah. Now, just heading back to your website, you've got some great,
Yes.
looks like article links, some blogs on here. I mean, just an incredible amount of resources on your website for
Yeah.
people.
Right. I started that website, and it's kind of antiquated looking. It's kind of intentionally made to be easy for those of us who aren't millennials that can you get on the internet. But it was made in 2000, and I've changed the background cover a few times and added things to it. But it's still, the whole idea was to give a resource to people who want to plan a trip to Baja, some ideas on what you can go and see. So I put a lot of all my trip reports or photo pages I've made. Not really up to date. I've done a lot of trips the last 2 years for Baja Bound, and I can talk about that anytime you want to. But up until then, I put my pictures of my trips on there because I go to all these what I think are neat and interesting places, and people who think like me or like things like I do will enjoy getting ideas of where to go and camp. But I also put links to other websites and other people's personal Baja photo pages and book authors and things. And I've done that over a totally, non-commercial but pro-Baja website to help people find a Baja adventure, and mostly tiered toward off-road or dirt road or history, since I love the missions so much. So I put pages about the missions on there and so forth. And then, of course, in 2016, I published this book that you're talking about, and it's now in its 6th printing. I've done pretty well with it, at least as far as a Baja book. It's no Harry Potter book. I'm not been able to retire on funds from sales, but it's fun. It's really enjoyable, and Baja Bound supports it, and it's been a great way to help people see what's down there history-wise. And there's been many books written about the missions over the years, but some of them didn't have the most current information or what I would call factual information. There's a lot of, kind of incorrect data that just got repeated from the next author to the following author. And I wanted to kind of make corrections. Wherever I could, I would go to the Jesuits' own letters, and most of these Jesuit books and letters have all been translated into English because I don't read Spanish fluently. I speak a little Spanish, but I'm not a good Spanish reader, especially old Spanish from the 1700s.
Yeah.
So these books have been translated in the last century by, scholars, so I trust their translations. And I use that information for the facts that are in my book and to try and correct information. Plus, I found a lot of information that has never been published into a book form, but are available on the internet if you know where to look, as far as dissertations, and a lot of great information about the Dominican missions, which were the last 9 missions in Baja California were founded by the Dominican order. And there was almost no information on them ever published before, and that's all in my book. So I've got a lot of good new information and corrected old information in my book. So everybody should be, get the right information if they get my book and enjoy it.
What a fascinating resource you put together. And I'll say, because I've been to a lot of these missions, I've driven by a lot more very fast in a race car, and you kind of look over your shoulder and like, wow, that looked amazing.
Right, the flash.
but to go on an adventure and pick a few missions that they can find in your book would be just that. It would be an incredible adventure, and I think that people would get so much out of those types of trips because the people are amazing in these little towns. And like I said, what a great resource that you've put together.
Thank you. Great. Yeah, and we're like I say, the project I'm working on with Baja Bound is a new road guide to Baja California, and that's what I've been doing the last 2 years. I've traveled over 12,000 miles in Baja the past 2 years, researching for a new travel guide. And it's going to be pretty good, I think, once it's done. It's been a lot of work. But look for that in the near future.
Now, is that something we're going to be able to find on your site or on Baja Bound Insurance site, or what's?
Well, I'll definitely link to it. But it's a Baja Bound sponsored project. It's basically their guidebook, and we just hope that it gets done in the near future. I mean, there've been so many things that have been keeping Baja Bound busy, supporting off-road racers and surfing. And so hopefully we'll get attention onto this. And in the meantime, I've been happy to share information with people. I do post on the Baja Nomad internet forums, and put a lot of my trip reports have all been there. So if they want to see pictures or maps, I've created maps of Baja. I've drawn and put online, and they're all on Baja Nomad too. Or they can contact me, and I'm happy to share and help people with their Baja trips by dropping me an email. And I get a lot of emails from people I've never met before, and give them some ideas. And they get on the internet down in Baja. They said, "Oh, that was great," or "Thanks for telling me about that." And so it's very rewarding for me. It's great payback for what I call work, but it's also fun to do, and that's to share and get other people's feedback of their enjoyment.
Well, I always say to people when I get ready to take them down to Baja for their first time that going down there and spending, a couple days will change their life and their perspective on how they look at life in general by seeing.
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah, just by seeing the culture down there. And I know that there's a lot of wonderful areas north of Ensenada, but to me, the country, the land really opens up into its its mystery just when you get past Ensenada. I mean, it just starts to blossom all the way south until you get to Cabo. I think that's where the heart and soul of that peninsula is just south of Ensenada. Right. But
that's so much you're seeing old California, and that's what Baja went once the San Diego mission was founded in 1769, and missions went north of there. They had no special name for this new land, so they just called it New California. Mm-hmm. And eventually they would call it Upper California. In the peninsula, it became Old California or Lower California, and of course Lower is Baja. And that's how California split. And when you travel down into Baja California, you're looking at old California, especially if you get away from the paved highway, and you see these missions and you see these old ranches and things. And this is the way California really is, other than it's more arid and more desert-like in the south. But it's like a time machine, and Baja is the perfect time machine. And you can go back there anytime and just go back in time and just really chill and be amongst either the boojum trees or the old mission ruins or cave art or the friendly people. It's just all a great experience.
Now, David, I think any time is the right time to go to Baja, but it is the middle of December. What's your opinion on good times to travel to Baja?
Well, I'm a little different from most people. I love heat, so my wife and I both enjoy the warm Sea of Cortez and warm land, and we just put up our sun canopy and throw out our beach chairs and grab some cold cervezas and just enjoy that. So our favorite time would be, at the very earliest, would be late May, like Memorial Day weekend would be often used for a trip, and all the way through to to late July. August and September are sometimes too hot or too humid for people, but that's when I did all my traveling last year, was in August, down to La Paz and Cabo San Lucas and back. And it's nice when the roads aren't crowded or the beaches aren't populated. Yeah. And it's just a little warmer, a little more humid, but you want it different. If you wanted cold, you could always stay home.
Yeah, so, sure.
But December is cold. I mean, it's cold at night, but often nice and sunny in the daytime. Yeah. So December is a very popular time for people to go.
Yeah. Well, I know for myself, I'll probably be down there in the next week and a half. Hit the Valle de Guadalupe, doing some wine tasting and working with some of my business partners there. And I'm gonna stay on the lookout for you down there, David. I'm gonna order up one of your books now that we've talked a little bit more about it. I missed my opportunity at the party there, so really appreciate that. So real quick before we shut down this program here, where can people find you? I know I mentioned your website is Viva Baja, VIVABAJA.com. Is there other areas to reach out to you, or what would you suggest?
Yeah, well, the book, the publisher is my book, and I'm a partner with the publishing company. Is out of El Cajon, called M&E Books, and the website is oldmissions.com. So that's all is one word: old, OLD, and missions, MISSIONS.com. And my book and some other classic Baja books are on there, plus other books written by my partner, who is Max Carrillo. And Max has been on TV on Jewel Hauser's show, and he's an authority about the California missions and the old mission bells. He's a bell expert, and Max lives in